This 1960 Ferrari 250 GT took us a full 8 months to restore, transforming it from this state to this one. What started as almost a scrap car is now fully restored to its former glory. Restoration process of the 1960 Ferrari 250 GT. Take a look at the condition of the wheel rims. They're in really bad shape. Not to mention, the interior leather is aged and cracked. The steering wheel logo and gear shift knob are both missing, the cigarette lighter is gone, and the dashboard is severely outdated. The engine compartment, it's a mess. And you can tell the engine isn't in working condition just by looking at it. And that's just the issues you can see with the naked eye. This car was in dire condition. Once the car arrived at the shop, we began by conducting a preliminary inspection. The exterior paint had completely peeled off, the body was severely corroded, and the frame had suffered significant damage. The left front fender was dented, the right front fog light was shattered, the grille was deformed, and both the front logo and the rear emblem were damaged. The right tail light and the side badges were also missing. Disassembly begins. The bodywork team started by disassembling parts like the trim, windows, and both front and rear hoods. Meanwhile, the electrical team checked the wiring system. During the teardown, we discovered severe corrosion on many components. Some parts were so rusted that we couldn't even understand how they got to be that bad. The interior team joined in next, completely removing all the upholstery. Looking at this, it was clear that the entire interior needed to be replaced. One principle we always follow is, like new but still preserving the original soul, meaning we strive to restore the car to its optimal condition while ensuring that its original character remains intact. Check out this V12 engine. It's massive. This is pure mechanical beauty. After everything was taken apart, we moved on to the restoration of the body. First, we stripped off the old paint, removed all the rust, and then applied an anti-rust primer to prevent further corrosion during the repair process. Inspecting the frame. The sides of the body were still in decent shape, just with a few small dents. But when we looked underneath, it was a different story. The main frame and floorboards were almost completely compromised. Without wasting time, we got straight to work. We welded temporary frame supports on both sides of the doors to prevent deformation during the metal replacement. The best quality steel sheets were carefully cut to precise sizes to ensure durability and accuracy. No surprise, the new layer of paint ended up being several hundred microns thick. Beyond the paint. In the process of restoring classic cars, the true condition of the frame, referred to as banjin, is often hidden beneath the paint. After removing the old paint and addressing the rust, we apply a rust treatment. Typically, there might be an alignment deviation of about 2 to 3 centimeters, which helps make adjustments easier in later stages. This Ferrari 250 GT primarily uses a steel frame, so to ensure accuracy in the restoration, we also use steel plates as the main material for frame repair. After shaping the steel plates, we cut out the rusted sections and replace them, adjusting the curves and angles to perfection. Once the repairs are complete, we continue with fine-tuning and finishing. Repainting and finishing. Next, we move on to the repainting process of the car body. We start by sanding and smoothing the surface. After that, we fine-tune chrome details and other parts before applying the final coat of paint. Once the repainting is completed, we proceed with the reassembly of the car's components. Interior assembly. Once the bodywork is complete, the interior team takes over. We begin by removing the old seats, cleaning, and treating the seat frames with rust prevention. After installing new S-type springs into the seats, the frames are handed off for further rust treatment. We then cut new leather to replace the old upholstery, turning the seats into fully restored leather versions. High-density foam is applied to the leather panels, creating a complete seat. Next, we select new leather colors, cut the pieces to fit, and combine them with foam to assemble the new seats. Finishing the seats and interior details. The seats are then polished and reassembled with the new leather. The seat frames are cleaned and reinforced with steel parts to ensure durability. By the end of the process, the Ferrari 250 GT is nearly fully restored, with all components intact and functioning just as it did when it was new. Repainting and restoration. Not bad, right? Next, we begin restoring the dashboards. We start by disassembling all components and carefully inspecting each gauge. Parts that need to be replaced will be swapped out, and those that can be repaired will be handled by our skilled technicians. If we can't source a part, we make it ourselves. For instance, adjusting the gauge wiring. Once completed, the main dashboard body is sent to specialists for oxidation treatment and further analysis. Afterward, it's returned to our workshop for additional anti-oxidation treatment and fine-tuning. Following this, the dashboard is sent to our upholstery workshop to restore the leather interior. Once the seats are sewn, they are fully assembled. Our woodworkers also restore the steering wheel, combining wood, pressing, shaping, polishing, and cutting grooves to achieve the precise size and fit. The restored dashboard is then reassembled into the car's dashboard, completing the restoration of this key component. Repairing other parts. The front and grille of the car were severely deformed and rusted. Since the original parts are no longer in production, we recreated them from scratch, following a 1-to-1 ratio. Due to their complex shape, we began by making a wooden mold, much like how we restored the 125S. If you're interested in the 125S, feel free to check out the video on my page. Once the wooden mold was completed, we placed steel sheets onto the mold and gently hammered them into shape. 3 key engine and component repairs. All disassembled parts are cleaned using ultrasonic cleaning. We replace the valves and valve seals. After cleaning, we use a valve vibratory machine to resolve any sticking valves. Once completed, we clean the parts with kerosene and perform low-temperature testing. We then create outer wave patterns and precisely test all components for accuracy. Engine disassembly and inspection. The feeling when disassembling the engine is indescribable, as the engine is rusty, worn, and severely damaged. We continued by removing the camshaft. Meanwhile, another technician checked the electrical voltage of the motor. The pistons and crankshaft were cleaned and checked for proper clearance. Once everything is inspected, we begin the reassembly of the components. Final engine testing. After the reassembly, we perform a series of tests to ensure the engine runs smoothly. We monitor oil temperature, adjust the idle speed, and fine-tune the air-fuel mixture for optimal performance. Once the engine runs stably and efficiently, we move forward with crafting any necessary tools. Final assembly and road testing. At last, all the components of the Ferrari have been fully restored. It's time to reassemble everything and take the car for a 300-kilometer road test. We follow a simple principle: repair it as new, restore it as old. While restoring the car's appearance is crucial, what matters even more is ensuring that, after the restoration, the car runs smoothly and reliably, just like it did when it was new. That's the true reason why we restore classic cars. Thank you for your interest. If you love classic cars and the restoration process, make sure to visit my page for more updates.